Thanks, Reddit. Really making my job easy here. But apparently he can also mix in some folds here. I don't like to fold. Folding is boring. What's up, guys? It's Abby Poker Decoded, and we are going to be translating some crazy hand histories from Reddit into standardized English. Let's see what these punters are about. The first hand is 5, 10, 20, 2.5k effective. So basically what that means is that the blinds are $5, $10 with a $20 straddle, which means that someone's essentially created a third blind in this situation. 2.5k effective refers to the starting stack. So you have $2,500 and you are the shorter stack here. Player describes that he is down heaps. He's in for 9,000 on his fourth buy-in after 2 hours. He's an action player, my type of guy, and always invited to my home game. But the villain in this hand is an aggressive but capable player. We are assuming that we are, probably the weaker of the two opponents. This guy seems like a super pro that we're up against. But apparently he also has a tendency to shut down on rivers. Basically what that means is when the fifth and final community card comes out, he tends to give up all his bluffs and only bet for value, okay? So let's see if that comes into play. We are in the small blind and we look down at ace 10 of hearts, meaning we are dealt the ace of hearts, 10 of hearts. That's a pretty good hand, but under the gun has opened to $60. That is a pretty standard 3x raise sizing when you play no limit Texas Hold'em, so that makes sense. Obviously, 3-bet or fold is fine. Basically what that means is that you could re-raise this, so our opponents set the price at $60. We could bump it up to roughly like 200, 225, or we could just fold, apparently. I'm not folding, I don't know what this guy's doing. But apparently he can also mix in some folds here. I don't like to fold, folding is boring. Anyway, and a call happy big blind. Thanks, Reddit. Really making my job easy here. Okay, I guess he chooses to call, even though he just said that a 3-bet or fold is the only two options. Classic Reddit. Indecision, recreational player, love it. He's trying to cooler King of Hearts, X of Hearts hand. Basically what that means is that he's expecting his opponent to have a worse flush draw. I don't think he has a worse flush draw, but the big blind calls as expected. Big blind's in the mix. Should we go for thin value on the river? The answer in PLO is most likely no. Okay, tough to beat those games. All right, it's a $10 bomb pot, which basically what that means is that everyone is going to be forced to put in $10 pre-flop. Okay, so before any of the community cards are dealt. Then everyone gets dealt their standard 4 cards and action resumes as normal after the flop. So after those first 3 cards have come out. Let's see what our villain gets into here. The hero is on the button. Hero is a classic term that poker players use to describe themselves when in a hand, because who doesn't like to think of themselves as a hero? And we're on the button, which means we're last to act with ace 6, 5 deuce, no clubs. Not a great holding in general, but when you're playing a bomb pot, you don't really get a choice, I'm not gonna lie to you. So totally reasonable that we would end up in this spot. There are 6 players at this table and we are $600 deep. Basically what that means is that you're playing with not a full table, so there are less people involved in this pot than normal, which would be a 9-handed or 8-handed game, but we are $600 deep to start the hand. There's $60 in the pot because there's 6 players in this hand, and the flop is ace, ace, deuce, rainbow, okay? We have a full house. That's a pretty good hand, especially in a double board PLO bomb pot. However, it checks around, which basically means that no one is willing to put any more money in the middle. The price that everyone agreed upon is 0, and we're gonna see a turn for absolutely free. Not sure that I would be doing that with a full house here, as a lot of the times, if any of your opponents have an ace, they can literally be drawing to any other card in the deck that will make them a better full house. However, I digress. The turn is an offsuit 3, and the low jack pots it. Interesting, okay? That's definitely gonna be a weird spot because now obviously you lose to ace 3, but that's kind of it. On a rainbow board, it's pretty dry, so what that means is you wouldn't expect your opponents to have too many bluffs here in comparison to a very connected board, which poker players might call a wet board. Our hero asks, do we rejam to try to get the money in with ace deuce, or do we just call being afraid of the ace 3? You know my answer. Put that money in, brother. If they got it, they got it. Just folded top boat in a cash game. What the hell are you doing? It's 5, 5, 10 PLO. Let's set the scene. Hero is on the button. All right, very interesting. And apparently we're just gonna skip all the relevant information and just go straight to where we fold the boat because we are here to mourn our hand. Poker players, don't do that. Don't be that guy. All right, ace, ace, 3, 3. Apparently there's a heart and all the other suits are irrelevant. 1 heart is apparently relevant to this guy. Interesting. He's writing this so weird. This is crazy. Okay, apparently we have aces and 3s. What are we doing, actually? Why are we even playing this? This is like a horrible hand, especially if you're not like double suited. This is wild. But okay, that's fine. Apparently he makes it $60 to go. That's why he's saying it like that, and gets 2 callers. I'm assuming from the small blind and big blind, that's like super important, doesn't mention it. Apparently not relevant to this guy. All right, flop is ace 3-4 with 2 hearts. We apparently only have 1 heart, so again, I mean, I guess we have the ace of hearts, so I'm sure that's why they're saying that, but oh my lord. Checks to me, I'm assuming from the small blind and big blind again. No idea who's in this hand. And we make it $200. Okay, apparently there's 2 folds and the cutoff calls. When the hell is the cutoff in this hand? We literally just said we opened and got 2 calls. That's wild. Okay, that's fine. I guess the cutoff was in this hand, and apparently he's the main villain. We didn't think to mention that earlier. Fair enough. The turn is the 4 of something, doesn't say. And villain donks, so villain meaning the other opponent in the hand. I'm assuming the cutoff. Very weird to be interchanging verbiage like that. He apparently donks, which means he now leads out for $500 into $600. This is absolutely diabolical. He goes, I smooth call suspiciously. Get this guy into writing and get him off the felt. What the hell am I reading? Was a quick call a mistake? Let's find out. 1-2, no limit. The effective stacks with the main villain 117. If that didn't make any sense to you, don't worry. It didn't to me either. Let's decode this. All right, so we're playing 1-2. Basically, I would assume that we're playing either anywhere from $300 to $500 in our poker chip stack. Doesn't say though. The main villain apparently has $117. Bro, I know I'm a whale because I already know the rest of his hand history. I'm just gonna tell this guy to call. So under the gun is gonna limp, so I guess he just calls the $2, puts in $2, fair price, right? Cutoff limps, so again, matching that $2. And it folds to us in the big blind, and we have pocket aces. Yeah, I really like my earlier read. We're just never folding here, unfortunately. But we raised to $12. That's gonna be way too small, especially in a game where people love to call. We're gonna make that 20 at least in the future. That's my best advice. Yeah, he's just gonna raise the price of the action, and then both of the other opponents, their action is back on them. They get to choose what they wanna do with it. But it seems like both players have not given up on this hand, and they make the call. The flop is the king of diamonds, 10 of diamonds, jack of clubs. Pretty dynamic. We have a straight draw and an overpair. So we bet 15. Under the gun is going to match that price. They're going to also put in $15, and the cutoff shoves, which means he basically goes all in for $117. Actually, at this point, it would be $105 minus the $12 that he put in pre-flop. This is again why I just really hate making this so small pre-flop, because at this point we just kind of need to put the money in and be wrong sometimes. That's literally should be my catchphrase at this point. Okay, so apparently we make like a really quick call. That's what our hero is insecure about here. And then under the gun calls for the remainder of his stack, which is totaled to $17. Yeah, we just aren't folding. I don't think it's a mistake, except for how you've written this hand. God damn. Quick bluff check. Thanks, King. Let me check that bluff. We're playing 1-3 at the Bellagio. Great game, by the way. I've been grinding there this summer, very profitable. And apparently we have $250 to start this hand, I would assume. Let's see, we have ace of clubs, jack of hearts on the button. Pretty hand, I like it. The button is the last player to act, so we are going to receive a lot of information about how players at the table are acting. And it looks like the players at the table will act because it folds to the hijack, who's roughly middle position, right? So he's maybe like 4th to act here. And he's gonna make it $10 to go. Pretty standard open here at 1-3. Oftentimes you'll see people making it a little bit bigger, but $10, nothing too suspicious, nothing to write home about. The low jack calls, so we're just wrong automatically because the hijack can't make it $10 before the low jack calls. It would be opposite, but the low jack makes the call. Actually, no, this would be the hijack. Bro, get the names right of your opponents at least. Yikes. A different player calls in middle position, and we look down at this point we are realizing that we have ace jack offsuit. This is a pretty good candidate to get in there with. So our hero does just that and raises to $45. I like it. The first player that we mentioned, not the hijack, the low jack, calls, and the low jack who our hero is calling the hijack that our hero is calling the low jack folds. Very confusing. Apparently there's $100 effective, which means that our opponent has $100 in his stack after calling the $45. It's the early stages of a tournament. Good, I'm really good at those. There's a $5 buy-in, my type of tournament. It's a PKO. So basically what this means is it's a progressive knockout tournament. When you first start knocking people out, once you've made the money. So once you've gotten to roughly the top like 12% of the fields, let's say there's 100 players in the field, once you get to those top 12 players, the bounties start to be coming in play, which essentially just means that when you knock someone out, you get money for doing it. It's a pretty sick situation. However, in a PKO specifically, the bounty amounts go up as time goes on and players get eliminated. So it's a very, very fun tournament. You can find a lot of those actually on betmgmpoker.com. And yeah, $5 makes you holla. We are in position with 65 big blinds, and the middle position player opens to 2.2 big blinds. Okay, so you know this guy's a super pro. When you open to 2.2 big blinds, essentially what that means is if the blinds, let's say you're at a 100-200 stage of the tournament, 2.2 big blinds would basically be a multiple of that bigger number there. So whatever the big blind is, multiply it by 2.2 and you get his standard opening size. So at this point, if the blinds were 100-200, he would be making it $220 to go in this PKO. And we start the hand with 65 big blinds. So in this example, we would have 130. Yeah, good. Math is really easy. This is why I'm playing $5 tournaments. 130, what's 130 times 6 times 100?
13,000.
Yeah, 13. Great, guys, look at that. I have to call in the peanut gallery. 13,000 to go. We pick up pocket jacks and we 3-bet to 6.5 big blinds. So basically we're gonna be doing that times 200 multiple again to figure out what that 3-bet sizing is. Generically speaking, I think it's a little bit small, but what the hell do I know? I can't do math.